going to talk about the use of Teflon pans and their risks and benefits to human health for my stse. To begin with, Teflon pans can be really useful for people's health because they contain a non-stick coating which eliminates the need for fats and oils in our diet. Now, the reason why we use oil and butter in pans is so that food doesn't stick. With the Teflon coating on pans, then there's no reason for that anymore, and it reduces fat and oil in our diets significantly. So it's a really nice way to reduce that in our diets. The chemical properties of Teflon are a polymer that has repeating strands of CF2, 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 and C8. This polymer's properties are an extremely high density, and it forms a very tight crystalline structure. The atomic mass is extremely heavy, and it has a very low coefficient of friction, which is equal to like wet ice on wet ice. So it's extremely slippery and nothing sticks to it. It's chemically inert and very unreactive, so nothing that you can put with it will react with this Teflon. It has an extremely low corrosion and does not react. It also has a high LDF which withstands great temperatures without losing any of these properties. It has an initial melting point of 342 degrees Celsius, which is very high, and retains its properties up to minus 240 degrees Celsius. So Teflon's non-stick, high heat-withstanding properties are very useful to people because it takes away our needs for fat and oils in our diets, so it reduces people's fats consumptions. DuPont is the company that produces Teflon, and it has always maintained kind of an impartial position on the subject of the dangers of Teflon. There is no direct proof that proves Teflon can be harmful, but there has been many studies done, specifically by the 2020 documentary, that kind of shows how Teflon can be dangerous. DuPont does have a warning on its website that if a pan is heated over 500 degrees Fahrenheit or 260 degrees Celsius, then fumes start to become released and chemical particles of the Teflon coating start to come off the pan and can go into our food, which is why almost every North American has traces of this chemical in their blood. No one knows how the traces of the chemical in everyone's blood can impact health yet, but there is a big fear that in the future, long term, that this generation that has this chemical in their blood will be affected by it. DuPont kind of denies everything that's been going on with it, but like there's no real reason to stop using the product, but then again, there are many risks in choosing to use a nonstick pan. In the chemical production of Teflon, a chemical called PFOA, or perfluorooctanoic acid, is involved in the production of Teflon, and traces of this acid has been found in the environment and also in people's blood levels. Actually, almost virtually every North American has traces of this acid in their blood. When Teflon is heated past 260 degrees Celsius, or about 500 degrees Fahrenheit, fumes begin to produce off the coating, and these fumes can be toxic to birds and kill them, and are also harmful to humans because they cause something called the Teflon flu, which is the fumes, when inhaled, cause flu-like symptoms in people for quite a few days. The most famous birth defect caused by Teflon was recorded on ABC's 2020. His name was Bucky Bailey. He was born with a nostril defect and also in his eyes. Bucky Bailey's mother worked in a Teflon factory, and she was exposed to the PFOA, and she had extremely high traces of this chemical in her blood, therefore causing the birth defects. Now, none of this has been really proven to happen every single time, but the connection has been made. So it's starting to show that Teflon isn't all good. And also, animals in labs that have been exposed to the polytetrafluoroethylene have been shown to get really sick and die. So although there have been no adverse effects in humans yet, at higher levels humans are going to be affected if the chemical production of this is not stopped soon. Teflon does not just affect humans' health pretty severely, but it also has affected the environment. There is a very large Teflon plant in West Virginia that is a large producer of most of the Teflon nonstick coating. Polytetrafluoroethylene is Teflon, and large traces of it have been found in the environment around the plant in West Virginia. The effects of this chemical that has been found in the environment around it are unknown, but there has been effects on birds because birds have very sensitive lungs and systems, and they have been known to die. Teflon is also not just a coating on pans, but it is also used in many other daily substances. Like it is in most cleaning products by DuPont, which is carpet cleaner, stain remover. Teflon is also sometimes treated in the clothes that we buy because it is stain resistant. So quite a few clothing brands have washed their clothes in Teflon, which is just another way for humans to be exposed to this. Which is why almost every single North American has traces of Teflon chemicals in their blood. So it's an all-around effect. It's not just the food we eat, it's also the clothes we're wearing, the products we're using to clean, it's everything. So to conclude, Teflon can be beneficial by eliminating the need for fats and oils in our diets, but only when used safely, below the magic temperature of 500 degrees Fahrenheit. Under that temperature, Teflon is very useful, but over that temperature, Teflon can have really bad effects on you. So it's important to follow the guidelines on DuPont's website if you want to use Teflon pans. And but just one more problem with that is it has been shown that in a nonstick pan, the temperature needed to just begin to crisp a piece of bacon is over 500 degrees Fahrenheit, which is over the safety guideline for using this pan. So if they are going to be used, it's important to really watch out what you're cooking, and yeah, maybe in the long run it would be better to use the fat, but that's a choice that people have to make.